Breaking news. With Sami Zayn's recent allegiance to the original bloodline, Jey Uso and the All Bloodline have formally reassembled to confront Solo Sikoa's side. In the opening seconds of the most recent SmackDown broadcast, the original tribal chief and the Yeet Master got into a heated disagreement. The story concluded, nevertheless, with a bittersweet reunion that brought Sami back into the continuing drama. A War Games match, a two-ring combat between the original bloodline and the new bloodline, is anticipated to take center stage at WWE Survivor Series War Games. For the forthcoming premium live event, we'll look at 3 indicators that Jey Uso might leave Roman Reigns in the dust. Roman Reigns' failure to apologize to the Yeet Master is a crucial factor that might have far-reaching consequences for the All bloodline. Sami Zayn asked the original tribal chief for Reigns to apologize to Jey Uso on this week's SmackDown when he came up for a family talk. On Raw, however, Reigns accused the Samoan twin of wasting time with the honorary use and insulted him instead of apologizing. Roman failed to extend an apology, even when Jey outlined the requirements for the All Bloodlines reunion. The former Intercontinental Champion may decide not to compete at Survivor Series War Games against Roman Reigns because he still feels disrespected and that nothing has changed, all because he refuses to apologize. The All Bloodline withdrew from the ringside area at Friday night's program when Roman Reigns rejected Sami Zayn's demands. Once again attempting to establish his authority, the OTC tried to speak down to the Raw star during their backstage interaction. The Yeet Master apparently took exception to this and left once again, this time claiming that Reigns had treated Jey badly. If this kind of conduct continues throughout Reigns at Survivor Series War Games, the 39-year-old actress may decide to quit the show, since she has already tried to bring Jey down. As the plot has developed, one thing has become crystal clear. Roman Reigns' main priority is regaining the Ulafala. The Ulafala has eluded the original tribal chief's repeated efforts to re-encircle his neck. The obvious desire for power by Reigns, represented by the Ulafala, seems to be a major factor in the All Bloodline's decision to reconnect. Once again, his moral decay might be on the horizon as his fixation with power eclipses his care for his family. The bloodline is experiencing unprecedented levels of anxiety as WWE Survivor Series War Games draws near. Even though Roman Reigns has been the undisputed tribal chief for so long, there are visible signs of weakness within his seemingly impregnable familial unit. There have been indications of pressure and discontentment from Jey Uso, a longtime follower of Roman and a pivotal character in the bloodline. Speculation amongst fans has it that Jey is about to snap and walk out on Reigns in a shocking turn of events at War Games. During this spectacular occurrence, Jey Uso may finally abandon the tribal chief, as shown by these 3 important signs. Leadership under Roman Reigns has always been about dominance rather than harmony in the bloodline. He has a history of employing manipulation to maintain order among his relatives, particularly Jey, and has a reputation for demanding absolute devotion, obedience, and allegiance from his relatives. Jey has been the target of Roman's wrath on several occasions, and she has endured verbal and emotional abuse over the years. While he has elevated himself to a pedestal, Reigns has often put Jey on a pedestal and expected him to sacrifice himself for the family's prosperity. It has been obvious to fans that Jey is sick and tired of being treated like a pawn in Roman's game, and their displeasure has risen over the last several months. The look on Jey's face, his unwillingness to carry out Roman's commands, and his hesitance to rejoice at Reigns' triumphs all indicate that he is about to break free. It seems that Jey is starting to become tired of Roman's domineering behavior, since he has been more evasive or clenched in recent portions whenever Roman demands obedience or commitment. Jey may have a chance to assert himself in a manner he hasn't yet in War Games. Amidst the mayhem of the contest, he has the opportunity to make a strong statement about his refusal to be controlled by Roman by refusing to obey or even ignoring his directives. It seemed inevitable that Jey would eventually stand up to Roman's persistent belittling and doubting of his allegiance. This may be achieved in the most spectacular manner imaginable by abandoning the bloodline just when Roman needs him the most. The complicated and sometimes contentious connection that Jey maintains with his younger brother, Solo Sikoa, is another sign that he could be about to leave Roman Reigns at War Games. Solo has been Roman's go-getter ever since he joined the bloodline, mindlessly carrying out his ruthless whims. The brothers are at odds due to Solo's unfaltering devotion to Roman, which Jey accepted at first in the hopes of family support in an increasingly hostile atmosphere. Jey has a more complex connection with the tribal chief than Solo, who is completely loyal to Roman. This has often caused tension between the two. Over the last several months, we've seen Solo put Roman's demands ahead of Jey's happiness, and even intervene to support Roman when the family is fighting. Both brotherly and tribal allegiances play a role in the schism that has developed inside the bloodline. As Jey grapples with his own familial loyalty, he has shown flashes of irritation with Solo's steadfast support for Roman. At Survivor Series, War Games, things can get heated. Given the gravity of the situation in War Games, Jey may have to decide between obeying Roman's commands and preserving his honor. If Solo blindly obeys Roman's orders, even if they put Jey in risk, this could be the last straw. After all the hardships Jey and his brother have gone through together, War Games may be the emotional catalyst that causes Jey to put his independence ahead of his allegiance to the bloodline. Perhaps he will finally break free of a group that has become like a prison by walking out on Roman. Throughout the plot of the bloodline, Jey Uso has been pushed to doubt his allegiance to Roman and his professional path on several occasions. He first joined forces with Roman on the premise that they might do great things as a family. But Jey has long said that he wants to be more than a subordinate. He wants to be a recognized rival in his own right. With his growing leadership responsibilities within the bloodline, initiative, and occasional challenges to Roman's authority, Jey's independence has been on full display over the last year. The character of Jey has evolved somewhat this year as he comes to terms with the fact that the family he has fought so hard to save is truly nothing more than a means to Roman's own glorification. As a result of Roman's egocentric leadership style, Jey's position in the bloodline has been diminished to that of a supporter. This conclusion must be devastating for someone with Jey's level of ambition and pride. As Jey realizes that Roman does not appreciate his efforts, his regard for him decreases, and fans have seen instances when his allegiance clearly wavers. In addition, there have been clues in recent portions that Jey may be prepared to leave Roman's shadow altogether. An especially revealing promotional video had Jey saying he would do what needs to be done, which may have been a hint to his impending departure. Under the intense pressure of the War Games format, when teamwork and survival are of the utmost importance, he may come to the conclusion that his path does not align with Roman's. His allegiance has been severely tested. Picture this. As the bloodline fights its way through War Games, it reaches a crossroads where staying together is key. Roman gives an inappropriate order because he thinks Jey will have his back. Tired at Roman's treatment, Jey looks down at the tribal chief and thinks enough is enough. After he leaves, Roman and Solo Sikoa are on their own. Jey would be restoring his individuality and identity at the same time as he would be making a strong statement against Roman's dictatorship. The WWE landscape would be irrevocably altered if Jey does, in fact, abandon Roman at Survivor Series. This would be a huge turning point for Jey's character and would also change the dynamics of the bloodline. Now that he'd spent years in Roman's shadow, he could strike out on his own and become one of the most interesting solo performers in WWE.